Hey besties, this is Julie.
And this is Chantel, and we are Vida.
And welcome back to the show. We're in the studio again today, and it has been some time since the entire crew since Chantel and I have been in the studio together.
Yes.
Physically. And we are so excited to have Dylan on the ones and twos. Our engineer is out here killing and slaying. And welcome back to the show on Usala Media. So today on Vida, we have a special guest with us, Shanny Chantel's cousin. Welcome. So, Shannon Querida Harkins. Ooh, that's a beautiful name.
Isn't it?
Ooh.
And I love that she uses the middle too. And my family's very much like, you cannot forget the Querida.
Oh, yeah, because it's beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Shannon is a Philadelphia-based theater artist from Pennington, New Jersey. She received her performance training from Rowan University Theater and Dance. Ooh, somebody else from Rowan. Where she was a musical theater major with a minor in dance. Her most recent credits include Esmeralda, like the Esmeralda from Notre Dame. I'm reading this obviously as we go. Heather Chandler in The Heathers, the musical, and Natalie in Next to Normal. During the day, she works at Montessori teacher. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty. Everything's pretty you do. At Our House Montessori, where she found her second passion and her second family. Wow. I am reading this right now because Chantel sent it to me at 10:24 last night.
My bad. That was my mistake. That's
and
when
you know,
I read
it's past my bedtime. And you know what? I'm so glad that I did because I really got to feel like your presence here. And while I'm reading it, I feel like when you read it at night or like when you're not there, you don't feel as connected.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
That's what I was doing. I'm going to start sending bios like that late at night when I'm in charge of that.
Right. So, Shannon, welcome to the show. Today, we are going to be talking a lot about theater and you and all the amazing things that women do in this world. But we do have a tradition as for how we start the show.
Okay.
And that is, and you don't have to go first, but you're welcome to if you'd like, our listener shout out. So this is where we give, how do you call it, Chantel? Give flowers?
Oh, yeah. Give people their roses or their flowers while they're still here.
Now, if you guys didn't listen to our show last week, you may be a little bit thrown back by that metaphor. Basically, that means that you're not going to wait until you've lost or until it's too late to let somebody know how wonderful or how meaningful they are in your life.
Because we always take the flowers to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the wedding. And that you're kind of saying goodbye at a wedding too, right?
Yeah.
Like giving them to another family.
Yeah. But you still get to, like, interact with them as long as they're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said wedding. Okay, so we're going to give some people their flowers. And Shan, I think you should go first because I just stole your metaphor.
And you know what's sad? I had warned Shannon, not warned. Warned is the bad word to use. I had informed her that this is what we do at the beginning of the show so that she could, have a little bit of time to think. Like I told her when we were outside. And in my telling her, do you think I prepared myself?
No, that's why you call it warned, because in your brain you didn't prepare it.
I have one. So I want to shout out Car Sense in West Hampton, New Jersey. Car Sense is a car dealer like CarMax. They are used cars, but they're really, really good used cars, like maybe one owner, low mileage, a lot of them. And that's where I purchased my car from a few years ago. And what happened?
I'm so confused. I was not expecting that.
So listen to this. Just watch. I have reason. So my check engine light came on, and this is the year that we paid my car off, and the check engine light came on, right?
Right.
So I'm like, let me take this in and let it get looked at because I still have a warranty on the car. Well, almost everything is covered under the warranty. There's one thing that's not, fine, whatever. So they fixed it. And I had Nehemiah and Eliana with me. And my appointment was at 8 a.m.
Ooh.
I was late. I got there a little bit after 8:30, which...
that's late.
Yeah, they had told me because I was trying to get like a little bit past 8 o'clock. And they're like, well, we do 8, 10, and 1. So even if you come at 8:30, it's fine.
Oh.
Like, yeah, so they were already aware.
Okay,
so,
friend.
Yeah, so I had the kids. They found what was wrong, told me what they had to do. I asked how long is that going to take. I was probably the rest of the day. Mind you, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like, I have a 10-month-old and a 4-year-old here. Like, I have to do, they can't just stay in this waiting room. Right. I'm going to have to get them something to eat eventually. So they gave me a code because my warranty company authorized it. Call the Enterprise or whatever, get your reservation. So I did. I called the closest one. They only had a pickup truck.
Ooh.
I was like, yeah, let me see if I can find something else. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. So,
I would have laughed so hard.
so I called to another one, and they said, unfortunately, you'd have to call the one you just called because we all handle certain areas. Like, I can't like come and pick you up from there.
Okay.
So now I had no way to get there. Long story short, my mom was gonna have to leave her job to come get me for me to go back to her office with my kids, but one of the gentlemen at the desk was like, let me double check to see if we have a loaner because they didn't think they did. And they did. And they found one for me.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know if somebody didn't really look. Let me stop.
That was Jesus H. Christ.
So I was very thankful to the customer service there. The gentleman took the car seats. They took the car seats out of my car, brought it to me, put it in the rental and everything else. So I'm just thankful for that customer service. And I've had nothing but good experiences with them, even with buying the car and everything. So
that is so good. Now I see where that went.
Yeah. See?
I'm all
Sometimes
about
you
it.
got to get ready for my little
Well,
journey.
you know what it is, though. Generally, Chantel and I are able to, tell these stories prior to getting on the show because, we talk all the time. I was on vacation and a little disconnected, and so I missed out on the tea regarding the Nissan. All right, so... can you tell that I'm trying to stall a little because I'm not sure what my listener's shout out is? I have one actually.
I was gonna say Shannon might be able to go for you.
Okay, I didn't want you to have to feel pressured to go next. So my listener shout out this week goes to family outside of your bloodline, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I went to Milton Hershey School, which was a boarding school, and I consider many of the folks that I grew up with there as my family. And it's funny because we, Hershey chocolate, so we always say that chocolate is thicker than blood. And I really do feel that because this past week I really needed to get away. I did. It was God's plan for it to have been this week, and in every way I felt like a part of the family that invited me, and it was Cassandra and the Johnson family, so shout out to the Johnsons. I'm so thrilled to have extended family and to feel included and to have had that break. And I just think that sometimes I find myself, and this is something I need to work on, feeling a little bit down because I don't have that strong family connection the way that a lot of people do, that unit. And I have so much more, so I should be really grateful for that.
Oh, Dito.
How about you, Shannon?
Well, to piggyback off of non-blood relatives, I just did, as it said in my bio, I just did a production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Dame. That came out weird.
Dami.
That's the French-speaking lady over there.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
And they kind of became like a second family to me, specifically this little group of girls.
Yeah.
We were all around the same age, and we just really clicked. And around Tech Week, right at the end of the process, we just got really close, and they're like my little girl gang, and I'd like to shout them out.
I love that.
Yeah.
Names.
Yeah. Okay,
Drop
we have we have Malia Diaz.
Ooh.
We have Kaylee Korn. We have Hannah Sadazan. And we have the last but not least, even though she's the shortest, Katie Risco.
Does it always happen to her just because she's
She's
little?
so tiny and cute. I love
Shucks.
her. But yeah, they're amazing. They're great support system. We actually went out last night. I just saw them, so they're
Nice.
on my mind and
I
in
love
the group
that.
chat. Yeah.
You know what? What a perfect transition, because today we're talking about your life in the theater and how you got involved, and we'll talk about that a little bit more because we want to hear your full story.
Yeah.
But I want to transition to understanding how, and I had the same experience, you grow relationships through everything that we do. So for me, the show, for you, the real shows, the theater, Chantel, you've been forming relationships even in your classes. And so
That's so true.
I loved the relationships that I formed in theater whenever I was in school. I remember they were the ones that really stuck,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Do you generally have that feeling, that experience when you're in different shows?
Yeah, so I've been really lucky to have done a lot of work that the shows I've done have all been super sentimental for everyone involved, and I think because I've done a couple special projects where everyone really emotionally connects to the story or the music or in some way, and that makes the experience so much more intense and beautiful, and that's what really brings everybody together, I feel. Because I've done shows where, like, you know, we're all friends, but we don't become a family like we do,
Right.
and the few special ones that I've been a part of. And it really ends up happening like right before the show opens. You become really close, and because you're spending every moment together. There's that tech week before you open where you put all the lights and sound together and bring the pit in, and everybody, you're there either all day or all night, depending on like what setting. If you're in like an educational setting, you're there all day.
Right.
But and you just, you know, you have a lot of downtime too, because they're doing all the lights and everything, so you're not really required to do as much performance.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just, that's when you really start getting to know everybody and talking, and it happens really quick and really intensely and really beautifully, actually, because it's real. It's not like, you know, we're forced to become friends.
Right.
It just happens.
I feel like that's where you get all the inside jokes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of inside jokes.
Do you ever have nerves when you're first, like, meeting the cast at first? Because you said it happened so fast.
Yeah. So first, well, especially the few shows that I've been the lead of, I don't ever want to walk in and have anyone think that I think I'm better.
here.
Yeah,
And
like
throw
I'm
the
better
scarf
than
across your
anybody.
neck.
Yeah.
That's actually what I wanted to know.
Yeah. I really never want to give off that impression. But at the same time, like, I do show up in a full face and, like, my heels, and because you do want to also
Command.
commit.
the room.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's like there's a reason I earned this role, and, you know, I don't want anyone to forget that, but I also don't want to come off, you know, that I feel like I'm better than anybody else there. We're all there for the common purpose, and everyone has their own job to do. So,
You know, like, there's a difference between power and pretentious. And I feel like you have that good balance. I love that you said there's a reason that I earned this role. I hate when people say I got this role.
Right.
Because earning is really a part of it. Can you tell us a little bit about the background? How did you get into theater, and, you know, what training and how long you've been working?
Yeah, so my parents had always brought me to see live theater. We had a subscription to McCarter Theater in Princeton growing up, and a lot of the time we either couldn't get a babysitter or something, and so one parent couldn't or didn't want to see this show or something, and I would get to go. And I was just completely enthralled with it. Like, I didn't know then that it's because I wanted to do what they were doing, but I just remember being like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Ooh, I like this. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you right there
Go ahead.
because we are just 30 seconds away from a break. But you guys, I'm inspired by that moment right there. So let's think about how you're nurturing a whole future by participating in theater with your families. You guys, this is Shannon, Chantel, and Julie, and we will be back just after this break.
Cool.
Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it.
Thank you, Ms. Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Welcome back to the Vida show. This is Julie. I have with me Chantel and Shannon. Shannon is actually performing this beautiful clip that you can hear in the background. We'll give you some time to enjoy.
God help the outcasts, hungry from birth. Show them the mercy they don't find on earth. God help my people, they look to you still. God help the outcasts, for nobody will.
Can I tell you, because I think that's like coming to the end of the clip, right? So I have chills again because I was able to see this performance. It was closing night. My favorite part of this song was right after the ensemble. And when you come in,
Key change.
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
When I
it's
tell you,
intense.
I told her if that song went on just a fraction of a bit longer, because I had a lump in my throat, I started having tears in my eyes. If it was a fraction of a piece longer, I would have just, and then I had makeup on. So you know when you have makeup on, you try to like hold it together.
Yeah.
But the cast was amazing. You were amazing. It was like emotional. The gentleman who played Quasimodo, his voice was amazing. Like, guys, support your local theaters. This was a South Jersey theater. This is the second production I've seen you in the South Jersey theaters. 2 different theaters, but both in South Jersey, because I saw you at In the Heights.
Yeah, most of the shows I've done have been in South Jersey.
Yeah.
Local.
But the
community
productions
or
are
professional.
amazing. Amazing.
I mean, the technique. I was just like, did she didn't breathe. I do have chills, and part of it too is that when a really great performer, and you know, I'm putting you there, performs, I watch some of your clips, and I've been watching on your Instagram and, you know, doing some stalking. It is emotional. You know, your voice, your body, and your just presence did echo that key change. And I love a good key change.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. Like, it's my favorite. But yeah, I think you're really, really powerful in what you do. So just before the break, we were talking about how you got into theater. And the first segment, for those of you just tuning in, was all about family and how even in theater and our shout outs and our relationships, we're building new families. So tell us again, you were experiencing theater with your family.
Yes.
And how did this grow into this passion?
So my dad always really loved theater. It wasn't really something he really expressed, but we were always getting tickets. You know, we'd go really early to New York City at the TKTS stand, and we'll wait and you know, in a very long line, and he'd just be like, what do you guys have today that is, you know, somewhat manageable budget wise? Like, let's go see shows. And I remember there was one weekend we were visiting, we had a family friend up there, and we I saw like 4 shows in one weekend. Nice. And I was like 12, and we
That
just
had
got
to be like one of the greatest
yeah,
experiences.
it was amazing.
Sounds like a pivotal moment.
Yeah, and at that point, I don't even think I had started doing theater yet, but I was, you know, there's nothing like live theater. You just have chills all over your body. I don't feel as happy doing anything else. And then middle school, I saw they did Seussical when I was in 6th grade, and I didn't audition because again I wasn't doing theater yet. But I remember seeing it like, I'm gonna do that next year. Like whenever those auditions are happening, let me do that. And they did High School Musical the next year.
Nice.
So I auditioned all in this together. Yeah. So I did. I auditioned and I played one of like the nerds in the ensemble, and it was the coolest thing. I was learning, you know, stage direction and like call times and all these cool words and the lingo, and I was like, oh, I feel so cool doing this. Yeah. This is so great. And then I didn't stop, and I kept auditioning for the shows at school. And then I told my parents one day, I was like, I think I'm going to go to school for this. And they were like,
yeah,
you know, they're so, because my mom actually, she said to me one time, she didn't really know I could sing until my senior year. Like she would come see my shows.
Nobody did.
Yeah, nobody really knew that I was like a good singer.
This hidden gift?
Yeah, like I would sing in the house and in the shower, but nobody really, I don't know. I'm one of 4 kids, so it was a loud household. I guess nobody, I don't know. And then I had this big part my senior year in a chorus line. I was playing Cassie, and it was like one of the most difficult things ever because I wasn't really a dancer. I did like Irish step dancing as a kid, but I wasn't really a dancer.
Irish step dancing.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
interesting, weird, fun fact.
yeah, because Shannon, so we're related by our moms, they're sisters, Boricua, and then her
Not
dad,
Irish.
her dad is Irish.
Oh, yeah,
there it is.
yeah,
I was like, let me explain the dynamic.
For me, because I never heard of Bodhi, but I was like, you know what? Let's go to the Irish step dancing tonight. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go as a child. We're going to go to it. Es lo mismo. Irish step dancing, salsa.
Same thing, Shani.
Yeah. So I was like, I basically had to. This is big dancing role. It's like she has a 13-minute dance number at the end of Act 1.
I'm tired.
Yeah, 13 minutes of like singing and dancing, going back and forth, and I was
Stamina.
like pirouetting and like things I had. But I had this amazing. I had amazing teachers in high school.
Yeah.
And I'll even shout them out. Gabby Cadets, or her last name's Cook now. And John Zisa. They worked with me. I had my own rehearsals where they would work with me because they knew how uncomfortable I was dancing. And they worked, hours that they didn't have to, but just so that, I would do a good job. And they're so special. They're like honestly, the reason I could even go to school for this. And Katie Rochon was also, she's the high school director there now. She literally taught me how to belt. I didn't have a belt before,
Now explain that to the friends that are listening from my side.
Okay, cool, yeah. So I was classically trained at Westminster Conservatory as a high school kid. So I only did things that you would probably equate to more like of an operatic sound. I had like a head voice, but they weren't really into belting or doing anything super contemporary.
Yes,
so,
Westminster is like me.
Yes, they were amazing.
We have my cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their...
Yeah. So
very good school, but it's very, very bougie.
Right. And then I met Katie Rochon was teaching at my middle school while I was in high school, and I met her and I was helping make up Little Mermaid or something, and she was like, everyone can belt, you just have to learn how to do it. And I said, oh, but they've been, I've been told that I'm not really a belter. And she said, no, I'll teach you. So she taught me how to belt. Yeah.
No, teach us. I want to know.
Yeah, it's just so, belting is like where you speak.
This is where her teacher's coming out.
Yeah, but with pitch. And so it's in your speaky placement and kind
very
of
pointy.
Pointy, and anyone can do it. All you young lady singers out there, you can all belt. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. You just gotta learn how to do it. But yeah, then
keywords: learn how to do it, because you can hurt yourself.
You
if
can
you
hurt
don't,
yourself
yeah.
if you're doing it the wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be careful of your throat doing the work as opposed to
technique.
I'm like blown away
technique.
over here because Chantel and Shannon had both been classically trained in terms of singing. I just went in the choir because I felt like it. So it's different. It's just this new level of it's just paradigm shifting because a lot of people think singing is just you just have it, but
Which some people do,
they do.
but a lot, and me included,
There's a lot to
need
learn.
the training, need the teaching.
I mean, even
placement,
those who have it, I feel like there's still something more. You know?
And so to people listening, if Beyonce is your favorite singer, Beyonce went through years of training, and it shows because she's up there singing these shows over and over in all these songs. So yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
I have a question that's a little bit unrelated.
Sure.
So Beyonce, she's still doing a really good job. I think she handles her voice well. What are your thoughts on the way that Mariah Carey handled her voice? Because I have seen a decline in her technique.
Let me stop.
Yeah,
I'm so shady.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful. Like,
Is that like a technique thing?
Yeah, so if over time your voice is deteriorating, you're not doing something right. It shouldn't be deteriorating. You should be able to have like a long, healthy career. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you're a screamer and you're not singing right and you're just concerned with keeping this reputation of having like crazy whistle tones and like, it's to me it's not worth it because then your career is shorter because you're damaging
Because I didn't know
voice.
if it was like a natural cycle.
No, and rumor has it that her mom is an opera singer. Like that's like known fact. I don't know if like what roles that she's done, but she's trained.
Okay.
And the rumor is that her mom warned her on the way in which she was singing. There's this room. I don't know if it's fact or not. Stuff you find online. But
you know
yeah.
your mom's gonna take care of you. So if she's
Especially if she knows the stuff.
right,
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
believe it, you
Yeah.
guys. I do.
I have a question too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were you still wanted to
I
piggyback
just
on
had
that?
one thing.
Because I didn't want to. Okay.
I'm not a real big fan of her attitude, so I feel like it
Yeah.
could have been a little bit of Jesus H. Christ in it.
Could have been. Could have been. I feel like to me the greatest. Well, two of the greatest, because then you still have Celine Dion. There's still a lot of women that were great vocalists, all in the same like era. But to me, two of the greatest vocalists that I grew up listening to, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, like something just happened vocally. And there's even been concern about smoking. Like some people can scream on their voice all day, eat horribly, smoke, and they can still get up there and rip a song up and down until they're old. And some people can't. Like you have to know yourself.
Mark
you have to know your
Anthony,
body.
man.
You have to know your technique. Yeah. So it's very, very important knowing yourself at the end of the day.
I'm glad you taught me that.
Yeah.
You know, because I might be a singer, so I need to know.
Yeah.
Side note joke. She's been talking about doing a oh my gosh, what is it called?
A recital.
A recital. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. So, here's my question. Sorry, I put you out there. Sorry, Julie. So, all right. So you've been answering questions on here without us having to ask them, which is
very natural.
Okay.
So one of the things that we had on here to ask you, like, you know, was it an easy choice that you made to do theater? And then the follow-up to that was there some reservation? I know that you said that your parents were like, oh, we're not sure about this. They obviously ended up being supportive of the dream, right? But knowing that what America calls being successful or chasing like an actual dream, like a realistic dream, was there at any time any reservation for you when you made that decision?
Yeah, I also, you know, as a kid and even now, I find myself in the clouds a little bit sometimes in regards to like reality and money. But, you know, I wasn't very good in school. Like my grades weren't great. Like they were fine. I'd get like B's and C's and I didn't like anything else. And everyone, you know, that I went to high school with, you just go to college. It was just like, you know, the way that everybody does it there. So I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to go, it's going to be for this because I don't like anything else.
Okay.
And I probably wasn't even really thinking about, you know, actual life as an actor and like having my degree be in something that, to me, I know that I have this huge set of skills from it, but, you know, it doesn't always look like that on paper to people trying to employ me or, you know. So, I mean, I recognize that it's going to be a tougher life. And honestly, what I'm more concerned about is, like, working. And not in a sense of, like, making money, but just making sure that I'm always...
Staying booked.
Yeah, I'm always booking and that I'm you know, because that's what makes me feel full and happy. And, you know, am I good enough to be somebody who books a lot of stuff and then ends up working her way up to booking things that I can make some good money on, you know? I just
You know what? I love that. I'm so sorry.
No,
to
you're
cut you
fine.
off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should be
We're
looking
going
at
to
that.
head to a break, and the last thought that I want the listeners to have is what makes you feel full and what makes you feel happy. Be back with us just after this break.
This is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, everything she says is so...
$150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Hey besties, welcome back to the Vida show. If you're just tuning in, Chantel and I are here with actress Shannon Guerrida. I'm going to just call you Shannon
That's great.
Guerrida because
I love
it's beautiful.
that.
So just a little bit of a tangent prior to going back into what we were talking about. If you are interested in what we do here at the Vida show, there's opportunities for you to get involved. You can sponsor our show. You can come onto the show and share your story. So be sure to reach out to us at contact@vieravida.com if you want to do that. So just before this break, Shannon, we were talking about what makes you feel full and what makes you feel happy. And I just think that's such a beautiful segue into the topic that we have at hand for this segment of the episode. So speaking of full and speaking of happy, what kind of obstacles have you faced in achieving that inner peace?
So, so being on stage, like in front of a lot of people, everybody's looking at you. So naturally, you're worried about the way you look. And I do have some trouble sometimes. So I have some pretty bad body dysmorphia from some stuff in my childhood. And being up there sometimes, and sometimes I can find myself taking my own mind out of the moment and out of what I'm doing because I'm worried about, is my midsection hanging out? Like, is this corset on right? Should I pull it? Can't pull it down right now. You're singing. Yeah. Everyone's looking at you. You got to wait till you go off stage. And it's so silly because then now your performance is on autopilot, and that's not good for anybody that paid to come see the show. That's not good for you to continue your performance and to have to get back in it somehow mentally. It's just... Yeah, I do definitely struggle with that a lot, and you're kind of fighting with your own brain.
How do you deal with that?
I talk to myself a lot, and I journal a lot.
Ooh, talk about it!
Oh my god, I
love journaling.
Yeah, journaling. I picked up the habit in college because a lot of my training we had to journal every day about what we learned and how we felt about it, and so now that's just what I do for myself. I write down what I'm not feeling great about, and then I give myself a little pep talk. Like, you are here for a reason. You're doing this for a reason because you love it. This has nothing to do with your body or the way you feel about it. It has to do with portraying this story correctly and losing yourself in your performance so that your audience can get lost with you. It's kind of... If I look at it as like a selfish thing, like you're being selfish by feeling that way and not being focused on what you're doing, then that helps me to kind of climb out of that headspace.
So that says something about your character. It sounds like there's a theme here, and community is a big part of it. So you don't just perform for yourself. It sounds like it's something that you are gifting the world in a way, and I love that. And is that a part of what drives you? That's kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel great privilege in, especially the part I just played in playing Esmeralda. She just is a fighter for the minority and for justice and for the outcasts. She's a huge outcast. She was a Romani gypsy, and I really do try to pick work that I feel passionately about, and that it's a story or a person that I want to tell other people about or bring light to so that we can create more community. And, I really do like that aspect. Like, it's not just about me. Even if I'm the lead of the show, it is not about me. It's about everybody involved, everybody in the room. Without one person, things would fall apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
So knowing that you have, you struggle with body image, body dysmorphia, what would you say to any young listener, woman, theater, anybody who's interested in pursuing a theater career or who is currently pursuing a theater career, who might say, man, that sounds like me? What advice would you give to that person?
I would say don't focus on, you know, trying to edit the way you look. You know, try and make your body, your instrument, as healthy as it can be, as opposed to making it look a certain way. It's so important. You know, I used to have a bad relationship with food. So, you know, there were some days where I would be like, oh, I can't eat this much today because I have to perform later and I need to look, you know, not bloated, or that's just a really unhealthy habit, an unhealthy way of thinking. I would tell everyone trying to do this to just, it's not about how you look, but it's about how your instrument is working and what you can do for your body to make it possible for you to do your best performance or your best job that you can. I think that's
yeah, and you know what? I think that's really applicable to any field. And so that's great advice, because a lot of times we're more focused on how we look. You know, it's this societal pressure that is really common, especially in the age of social media. But whatever you're doing, as long as you're feeling good doing it, you know, having an understanding that whoever you are is a person based in, you know, character and some positive traits, and if you feel good doing it, then you're doing the right thing. You know.
Yeah. I want to ask you, so now more technical theater questions. Well, not technical theater questions, but I did not know before you pursued this, that you can't just show up for an audition for a show. Like there's a card or like a part of something you have to have. Can you let the listeners know about this? Because I had no idea.
Yeah, so just like in other fields, there's an actors union, and there's a stage actors union. It's actors equities. So depending on what you're auditioning for, there's like a system of points, and you have to have a certain amount of points to be equity, but then you're also paying, you know, monthly because you get like insurance, health benefits, all this stuff, and there's like a certain list of rules that if somebody is employing you, that they have to follow. You have a certain amount of time for breaks. You know, it's just to help protect the actor and from like mistreatment or overworking. So depending on what you're going to audition for, some places will only call for equity actors, and then some things will call for non-union, and some things will call for both. But if you're equity, you get bumped to the top of the list of like an open call per se. If we're in New York and we're auditioning for something very open casting call, you have to be equity to go first, and they don't have to, you don't have to wait in line as long. And then at some point they'll say, okay, now we want to see non-union. And then you wait to do that. And then, but sometimes they end up, either being tired or finding what they need, and you've been waiting and they don't want to see non-union. And it bumps you up to a better spot of like what you can even go out for.
Yeah.
Is this like the red, my gosh, not the red carpet, like the velvet rope when you go up to the club and you're like, I'm so-and-so. And then is that kind of...
It sounds VIP.
So if you have the card, you literally go to the front, or because if you stand in line, they're not going to know.
How do you earn that?
So you have to work at equity houses, which would mean like theaters that give EMC points.
Okay.
So you can also be a non-union actor with points, and that's a good spot for someone maybe my age to be at, because I don't really have the funds to be putting in monthly money to be equity, but that will bump you up too, so it'll be like equity people with points,
goodness.
and then non-union.
None of this.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
I'm probably not even like saying all of this right. There's probably gonna be theater people out there like, she's not explaining this correctly, but
relax.
What
we
you're
get into
doing is you're shedding light on the. And I hate using this word, but the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And that there is so much more than what meets the eye, because a lot of times, and this is just a general stereotype, but we see actors or actually anybody within the arts as a little bit more laid back and not so, I guess not having to plan as much. And, you think like, oh, I woke up today, I looked at the newspaper, and I'm going to an audition. It's not like that.
No. Yeah, it's hard to find stuff that you're right for, or that you're right to audition for. So you also need to have like your rep book, and that has like all this music in it, and you have to have all types of different types of singing that, you know,
Depending on
and-
what the show, right?
Right. And if they want to hear something else, you should, you know, they should be able to look through your book and say, okay, can you do this one? And you have to be ready to do it. You have to have you have to be very organized and prepared and put together. And it's difficult. Auditioning is the worst part.
Okay,
For sure.
I can imagine. So what's your favorite song to audition with?
For a long time, if any of my friends listen to this, they're gonna laugh. For a long time, for everything, I sang this song "Breathe" from In the Heights. I played the part at one point when I was like 19, and I sang it for everything. You know, but
do you mind sharing a little bit of that?
Do you want me to sing?
Yeah. Look at your face. Yes, girl, you got audition to be on this show.
I mean, I can try. I'm a little hoarse today.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
I won't look at you.
Okay. Where should I start? I guess okay. Breathe, just breathe. This is my street. I smile at the faces I've known all my life. They regard me with pride, and everyone's sweet. They say you're going places. So how can I say that while I was away, I had so much to hide? Hey guys, it's me. The biggest disappointment, you know. The kid couldn't hack it. She's back, and she's walking real slow. Welcome home. Just breathe.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was rough.
My goodness.
So before, because we have like less than 2 minutes, how do you prepare for a role? And I don't know if you want to talk about Esmeralda or if you want to talk about you played roles in The Heights, Heathers, whichever. Like, how do you prepare for your role, playing that character?
So you naturally have to do a lot of research on the time period. I watch a lot of videos of other people who've played the roles. I like to, not steal, but use, good stuff that I see, acting choices or riffs. Yeah, some inspiration. Yeah. The research, though, is the biggest part because, if we're gonna, for example, Esmeralda, that's a very specific time period, and the circumstances in which she was living are very specific, and you end up doing all this research and kind of creating a little backstory for yourself. Like when I entered the stage for the first time, what was I dealing with right before that? That moment before is really important, and the given circumstances of this is my objective in this singing God Help the Outcasts is, I have seen so much and I've dealt with so many awful things, and that brings more meaning to what you're doing, and it makes it easier to find something to grab onto in terms of making acting choices, and the research is the biggest part, I would say.
So you know what, I love that. You guys stick with us because just after this segment, we're gonna get to know you as a person a little bit more outside of just your career. Okay. So stick with us, you guys. We have a star to get to know.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey besties, welcome back to the Vida show. Today we have with us Shannon Querida, and we are so excited to have a real live actress on our show. Just before this break, we posed a question, and that was, really, how do we get to know you more? And I feel like, Chantel, you have a little bit of insight into sometimes the struggles and the depth of what Shannon Querida has shared with the world. So let's go ahead and start with that.
Yeah, so, sorry guys. I had a fuzzy or something on my lip. So anybody watching the YouTube live, it hit my tongue at the same time. I'm so sorry to the listeners on the radio. On the radio. Okay. All right. So Shannon posted something on her Facebook page, which brought up our questions about confidence and body image struggles that a lot of people have, whether you're a performer or not. And this is what she posted. This is going to make me emotional just because I love you and I saw you play. Okay. Goodbye, Esmeralda. Goodbye, Notre Dame. See you soon, new friends, and thank you to everyone who took the time to come see this show. It truly meant the absolute world to me. This experience was one of a kind. I made some incredible new friends, pushed past my comfort zone, and got every last drop of my confidence back. To anybody struggling with themselves, I want you to listen to this, okay? It was very difficult to tackle this role at the mental state I was in when I got cast. As badly as I wanted it, the idea of portraying, in quotes, the finest girl in France absolutely terrified me, as my self-esteem was at an all-time low and my body dysmorphia was at an all-time high. I would not have been able to put on the performance I did without the support and love of my carpool buds and my new gal pals. I hit a huge block in the middle of Tech Week and thought I was going to be absolute-ish, I'm using because when we opened, and a huge disappointment to my castmates and directors, pushing myself over that block. And out of that funk was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and I feel super accomplished and better for it. Having the opportunity to play this bad behind feminist icon in this political climate was an absolute pleasure and a responsibility that I felt extremely blessed to have. She sends a shout out to John T. Stephen for giving that to me, and I'm so grateful for your direction and words of encouragement. It has been an absolute dream, a magical experience that I will cherish forever. I now feel the confidence and drive to push myself further into my theater career and see what lies ahead. Thank you to everyone involved in this production. Love everybody, love everybody, love everybody is basically what the last words were. This one is for the books.
Wow. Wow, I'm inspired by that because there were stages to that post, right? Yeah. And it's so it's a relief to me because I see a lot of people, they just post out of their booty holes. Yeah. They don't plan anything out. They just it doesn't matter. It doesn't have depth, right? And there was so much depth there. And it started with vulnerability, and then it grew to confidence, and then it went to community, and it all just came together with love. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't see posts like that anymore. I'm so inspired by that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Huge. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about you, a little bit more. Yeah. I feel like you've been really vulnerable with us. So yes. I'm so excited for this because I know you're going to be honest. You know what? Let's start in an easy place. Okay? What's your favorite musical?
That's supposed to be easy.
Oh my gosh, this should be easy. I should have a favorite musical.
Apologies. Okay, top 3.
Okay, this is so not in character for me, but not on brand at all, but I just saw Mean Girls, the musical, the tour, and it was so good, and I really liked it. Janice is a dream role now. In the Heights will always be near and dear, and so will a chorus line. Done it a couple of times.
Nice.
I love that show, yeah.
That's so funny. That you mentioned Mean Girls because even it's huge for millennials, and I feel like I learned a lot from that movie. Yeah. And so the other day I was telling my friend Josh, I was telling him he's doing such a great job, and I'm so proud of him. And so I texted him, "You go, Glenn Coco."
I knew it. I knew that.
And he says, "What?" And I go, "It's a millennial idiomatic expression, meaning I am proud of you. You're doing well." So I like that you picked that, actually. Cool. Okay, you know what? Let's go a little bit easier because I did get pretty deep. Favorite food?
Sushi.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't start eating it till college.
Sashimi or just
like rolls.
Okay.
Is that?
So
yeah.
Would you eat it raw?
Oh yeah.
Like the way. Okay,
I love
so you
raw
eat it raw.
fish.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I love raw fish. Quote of the day. I love raw fish.
Favorite song from a musical?
Ooh.
Not necessarily to sing, just your favorite song.
The opening number of Wicked, just listening to it in my headphones is like
so good.
I lose my mind. Chills my whole body.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yeah.
What is your all-time dream role?
Elphaba, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I want to be green. I want to do it so bad.
Can you stay calm for once instead of flying off the handle?
See who else if she could be right there with you.
That's
So if you get that role, forget the if.
When.
Amen. When you get that role and it is in our area, you have to let me know and I have
will
to
be
tell
in the
Julie.
Front row.
I would
Front row. You're going to have to tell me to
listen.
shut up, though.
Because you're trying to say everything.
Instead of flying off the handle.
You know, I was doing that at the Hunchback, but I was doing it like to myself.
Yeah.
Like certain things, like it's the songs too.
I do that every time I'm watching The Grinch, and it's so
Oh my
annoying.
gosh, the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah.
So good.
I love
So
you.
funny.
I wish I could stop though. So like the other day we were watching it with my family in the living room, and it became a little bit embarrassing because I couldn't stop it. I was like, stop.
I am
my
an
sisters
adult.
love that
I do
movie.
have self-control.
He's like, I'm not going.
Yes, that's one of my favorite parts. If I can't find something nice to wear.
You have to look. I have a post on my Instagram page. I'm gonna have to share it with you. That I did at Julie's house because she brought me these
she's so
huge
funny.
pants, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm not going. I have nothing to wear." Like I walked away. Yeah,
I love that.
It was really theatrical.
What is your favorite song to sing on stage of what you've done so far? Because I know you're still young and you have many roles to still play.
I guess. Sorry, I'm trying to not blank like this. I really enjoy. There was one in the Heights that I did called "Everything I Know," and I really enjoyed because I just sat there with a photo album, and I love like my blocking was so simple. It was to sing the whole thing on the stoop there, and that made it really easy for me to tap in, and it's just a beautiful song. I don't know, it's really nice in my range, and
so like the song got to be the feature there.
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I really
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could give any advice to, what was it? This is a question from Mercedes, to your 21-year-old self.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm
23.
23.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay, so we're going back to 16, boo. Okay. If you could give any advice to your 16-year-old self, knowing what you've experienced and what you've learned, what would that be?
Study more.
Why are you so funny?
Yeah. I should have probably gotten some better grades, but I also should have studied. I didn't really have and no one in the family was really doing theater, and my parents didn't really know how to help me because it was kind of foreign, and I wish I did more research on it so that I could have set myself up better for the college audition process and stuff. Not that, I know I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be, and everything that's happened to me has happened to me for a reason, exactly how it should have. But I do wish I read more about what I do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many tattoos do you have?
Oh, God.
Because I know that Shannon has.
I have a lot of tattoos.
As you can't see from here.
2,
Yeah,
3, 4, 5,
She's counting
8. I have 8 tattoos.
Okay, we're continuing with rapid fire in the next few seconds before we finish up. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Ooh, you were too fast.
Okay, TV show or movies?
Movies.
Okay.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
I went to Utah this summer to visit some friends, and I was completely blown away by mountains. I'd never seen them before. And I have a mountain ring. I have a mountain tattoo.
Oh my gosh! And I just came up with that off the fly. When there's snakes and mountains, I choose beach.
I think before Utah, you probably would have chosen
I would
beach.
have chosen beach.
So
yeah.
my last question, and we're almost out of time. If you weren't performing, what would you be doing? If you could do anything in the world?
well, if I wasn't, see, that's the
Trick
thing.
questions.
Because if I wasn't doing theater, I would have my own indie rock band.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah,
interesting.
that's the dream.
Just before we finish up, can you tell us where to find you?
Social media.
Yeah, social media. My Instagram at Curl Shark, Facebook Shannon Kadita Harkins. Don't follow my Twitter. I'm not going to give it to you. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, Instagram.
Awesome. So thank you so much for being here today. You are an inspiration. I'm so happy that you came here. Follow us, follow Shannon, and make sure you stay a part of this family. Thanks for being a friend.
Thank you. Oh,
You
that
know
was
what's
fun.
You interviewed someone with the open-ended questions, but then when it came time,
I know. I was
okay,
like,
this or that.
I don't know. I like too many things.